Do you have any good beginning exercise for a very dominant horse, alpha of the herd, that has almost no training with humans? Exercise to promote leadership and trust. I'm going to take your word, your judgment that the horse is dominant. Some horses present as dominant when in fact they're just really afraid. And most of the time when I approach horses, I approach them like they're scared. And most of the time they're scared. They may show as a dominant horse because they push you over, they kind of tell you what to do, they step on you or try to kick or bite, and essentially they're saying, out of my way, get moving, or come with me, something along those lines. And that may be perceived as dominant. And it may be dominant, it may actually be. So I'm going to sort of cover this twofold. One, it's a dominant horse. Two, it's not a dominant horse. It wishes it was. It'd like to be because it's so afraid. Two scenarios can be tackled with one exercise. The simplest exercise that you can do, and you can do this in big spaces, in small spaces, because you don't, no matter if it's a dominant horse or a non-dominant, but just really afraid horse. In fact, I would almost say that a dominant horse, a horse that is secure in its surroundings, will not generally try to push you around. Now, I understand part of the question is almost no training with humans. I think, based on my experience, horses, they may not differentiate between horse and human, but maybe not quite at the level we usually think that they do. I think that if you can exhibit the same amount of pressure and release that a horse can, then they will respect you just as much as they would a horse. And this goes back to the books that I review and the videos that I talk about, where we talk about feel and we talk about imparting a request or a demand sometimes to the horse, not necessarily through aggressive action, but through a real feel, really get them with you. So the exercise that I like to do with horses that I find are what are probably pushy or afraid, or they've just got their own thing to do and they're not interested in you. And what you want to impart to them is that your feet don't move, theirs do. And there's piles of signs that will give you an indication if the horse is truly dominant and fearful, which is hard to explain all in one go. But the exercise is this. So I'll cover the rest later maybe, but the exercise is this. You want them to move just a little bit. And so I think I've done it in one of my videos. I'll see if maybe I can find that. But essentially the exercise is this. You stand in front of them and you get their attention. You make sure that you have their attention. And they don't have to move at this point, but they need to not be kind of looking around and, moving off a little bit. You just want them to stand at first. And when they get that standing thing figured out with you, because any movement or any direction they try to go, you're going to just block it. If they try to go backwards, pull them forward. If they stop and they stay with you, release. If they try to go left, bring them right. If they try to go right, you bring them left. If they try to go towards you, get big, get loud, back them off. If they do any of these things, as soon as you ask for it, release. If you can help it, encourage them. Give them a little touch the nose, just gently. I mean, it is literally just touch and get out. Wait, see how they respond to that. See if they continue to pay attention to you. And then, when you get just the standing part good, ask them forward. One step. When they come forward one step and they want to lumber for a little more, stop them. Get fast, get big, and as soon as they respond, get out. And when you get forward, kind of ask for one step backwards. And then when you get that forward movement and it's good and they stop, they give you one step, ask for back. Now, a lot of horses will kind of struggle here. They'll struggle with it as much as they probably struggle coming forward. And I would actually have to say that I believe that there are a lot of horses that struggle more with forward than they do backwards, because they can get away from you. Forward requires some trust, unless they're intent on bowling you over, which is why you're going to get big and you're going to get loud to get one step. Your goal is 1 step in each direction. When that gets good, get 2 steps. 1, 2. Don't get 1, 2. Get 1, release, 2. Same with back. Until, and here's the key, until you have it to where all you're doing is just using your finger or your body movement. And you might draw back, push forward. So drawing back to draw towards you, pushing forward to push them back. And every movement must have an equal amount of release to pressure. Because it's not the pressure that teaches the horses, it's the release. I'm sure you guys have heard that a million times. A dominant horse will connect up and understand what you want better by doing the smaller exercise. If you have to chase them around and stuff, you're more likely to get kicked, you're more likely to get hurt, run over. These should be slow, careful, quiet, peaceful exercise so that they're more inclined to think that they want to hang around with you than try to be away from you. Hopefully that answers the question. If it doesn't, let me know.